Yes guys, Jess here, back with another video. You read the title. This is the next massive move for Bitcoin. As you can see on the video a few days ago, we had a scenario that I was looking at, a little pump, liquidity grab, and then a further push to the upside. And as you can see, that's exactly been playing out. However, I see a massive trap in the market right now. So you guys need to be watching until the end of the video. I have a lot of charts prepared, and I need to talk about the high impact news that we're getting tomorrow, which is our CPI reading. So definitely make sure to watch to the end to be fully informed. But before we get into the details in the video, make sure to smash up that like button. Let's try and get above 25 likes again, guys. That'll be absolutely insane. And with that being said, let's get straight away into this banger. Bow. And as you guys can see, we actually reclaimed this level I was talking about, and we hit the target that I was targeting over there. So you can see I was talking about a reclaim and then a push higher, and that's exactly what we got in the market. And we're actually holding above this mid-range, and you can see that the candles are actually indicating that we're potentially going to be moving in towards our 100k level, in towards the news. However, we need to be looking at different scenarios, because this can be a massive trap where we can actually come down a bit further before actually resuming our move actually upwards. So we need to be looking at all the different charts. So you can see we've been ranging for about 64 days ever since we actually lost momentum, and we actually just started hovering in and around the 87k level all the way up to 108k level. This has been our range. But recently we've had a massive crash. You can see we had multiple 12-hour candles just being red, coming down in towards this 92k support. And I said if we come into this 92k support, we should hold it. If we lose it, we're coming in towards 89.6k over there. And as you can see, we actually got that bounce. Then we came back down as we couldn't hold it. We had the liquidity grab that we actually warned you guys about, and then we got the bounce that we were highlighting. So we've been actually smashing it on this channel. So make sure to be subscribing so you don't miss out on these key charts and details. But you can see over here that we have this horizontal line with an alert over there, because if we push into the zone, we may see some short-term support, because this would confirm our first higher high and a potential first higher low before we actually start moving higher. And then we reclaim this mid-range. That's going to be your higher low with your higher high. We can actually resume a uptrend again. So this is something to be looking for. However, I do think that this is one scenario that's at the back of my mind. I won't be trading it just because it's high impact news day. You want to be avoiding days where your edge in the market is decreased. You want to just be observing how price reacts at this level, as opposed to trading off of it, as you may get a final shakeout from buy positions looking at that scenario before you actually get the pump higher. So you can see on Twitter here, I actually talked about the PPI news that we got today. So you can see on the economic calendar. So on my Twitter, you can see that I actually posted about the bullish CPI inflation news that we got today, where we actually met the expectation and things were looking good for the PPI numbers. However, the more higher impact news, as you can see on CryptoCrap's website, it's highlighted in red there. It's a red rated news because it's more important to be looking in towards. We need to be weighing up if the numbers that comes from CPI is going to lead the Fed to be more hawkish or dovish on the next FOMC meeting. So definitely, if inflation is a lot higher and it's increasing, then we're going to have a rate halt and potentially no rate cut for a very long time, because we need higher interest rates to control inflation. But if inflation is falling a lot faster than the Fed wants, and they anticipate that we may actually be at risk of falling below the 2% target, then they're going to start cutting rates again, which is going to be extremely bullish. And of course, last FOMC, we had comments from Powell about him not being sure about the rate cuts. He did mention what the market was actually looking for, which was more than 2 rate cuts, was potentially not going to be the case, where we're going to get only 2 rate cuts in 2025. And we had a bad reaction in December off of that news. We had an initial sell-off, and he made further comments about Bitcoin. So if you go into the chart, you can see on the right-hand side, we have the S&P. Below it, we have the Nasdaq. On the left-hand side, we have Bitcoin, and below it, we have Ethereum. And you can see we actually started to come down on the S&P all the way back here when we had that comment from the last meeting. And you can see that that was the same for Bitcoin. We had an initial sell-off. He made a comment about Bitcoin, and then we had that final dump off. Now, I do think if CPI is not bad, we can definitely see a massive pump in the markets. We are already coming off of bullish momentum, so things may be already priced in, and we may just get a continuation in the hopes that we actually get news that is bullish for markets. But again, I am prepared for us to actually push in towards this zone, and then we get whatever reading and we actually see a move down for Bitcoin, as that's definitely a scenario. We're fast approaching the downsloping resistance line over here. So I'll move my arrow out the way so it's a bit clearer and remove the scenario as it's already played out. And you guys can see that if we actually start moving in towards this resistance level, in towards CPI, the likelihood of us actually coming down is quite high in my opinion. I don't think we will actually just smash through this straight away. If we do, the retest will be quite sharp before we actually continue. So that's something to be bearing in mind. But best case scenario, you want to see Bitcoin consolidate and accept price above this level here, and then on any good news, we actually get that squeeze and actually grab all the liquidity above us. So looking at the liquidation heat map, you can see all the liquidity was grabbed on that wick all the way down to 89.6, and we actually had a nice bounce and we grabbed the top side liquidity. So the market makers, the participants in the market moving price have just been grabbing liquidity left, right, and center. And you guys know I always say Bitcoin always moves to the majority of the liquidity. So this is nothing to be surprised about if you've been subscribed to the channel. So this was what we were looking at yesterday that I mentioned, that we had the Trump inauguration coming. And I was telling you guys that I was expecting, still my bias was bullish. I do expect us to actually pump in towards it and maybe get that sell off. And you can see right now that we're already initiating that move. We're actually moving up in towards that inauguration date, which is January 20th. So definitely, I do think that a sell-off in towards that news is possible before we actually resume the actual parabolic advancement in towards new prices. So that's something to be watching for. And yes, guys, I do think that this scenario would be sweet, but I'm not going to be surprised if we actually come down one more time in towards 91 and actually hold the level. A lot of people are looking at this head and shoulders pattern that I was highlighting to you guys a lot of the time, and they're actually looking to short the price all the way down to fill our CME gap. So you can see this will be scenario 2 over here, where we actually lose our level and actually come towards that 77.3, 77.4k mark to actually fill the gap. But I think that's a massive trap and it's not guaranteed, although it is still on the table. That's because I'm looking at this Wyckoff schematic. So the last time I actually brought up one of these Wyckoff schematics on my channel was over here, and you can see that we exactly played it out. So I was looking at that last point of strength. I had all the phases marked out. We had a spring, we had a test, and then we moved into phase D from phase C, which is an important detail I'll touch on in just a second. We had our backup phase there drawn out, sign off strength, and then into new all-time highs. And if we actually go in towards the chart and we looked at if that played out, you can see that exactly played out. I was looking at this scenario, I was covering it on the channel, on my Twitter, it exactly played out, candle for candle. And yeah, that was looking really good. And again, the key thing for me was the spring phase. That was really telling. After we had a big range, you could obviously tell that there was this schematic that was likely to play out. And if we look in towards the charts right now, I'm seeing the same thing where we have a nice spring over there, which is phase C. We go in towards our phase where we have a test before we go in towards the last point of strength. And then we have a sign of strength and last point of strength again after we jump across the creek, which is just meaning we're expanding a little bit in towards more bullish advancements because we're kind of building the momentum to break out of our range. And yeah, essentially this is something I'm looking for. And if you look at your image where you have the Wyckoff schematic on price, you can see it's looking exactly similar. We had a spring phase and it's likely that we can get a test before we move up, but again, it's not guaranteed. But I say it's high probability for me. It's something I am definitely looking at. So in the case that we do come down in towards this 91.7k level, especially on news where the test is a wick, that would be really bullish for me. And we're looking for something like an inverse head and shoulders to be playing out, where you have a low, a lower low, then you have a higher low there, and then the necklines where you actually establish positions again, and we can actually look at scaling in towards some long positions. So if you're enjoying the analysis and you agree with my opinion, then make sure to be checking the first link down below. If you click the first link down below, this will take you to this page over here, which is the page for Blofin. Blofin is a great exchange. They offer up to 5,000 US dollars in deposit bonuses. They also have zero maker fees, making it very, very convenient to be trading with. And they also have fire blocks, which just means that they have a third-party custodian to make sure that your funds are more secure in the long term. So that's an amazing feature that Blofin do have. And I do recommend that you guys actually check them out if this is available in your country. So make sure to be checking if that's the case. And if that's the case, then make sure to be signing up with Blofin. And for some reason, if you don't want to use Blofin, then we got KCEX over here. So make sure to be clicking there. You can gain up to 9,000 US dollars in deposit bonuses as well. You get zero maker fees and you got no fees on spot as well. And you have that zero withdrawal fee 2 on all change, which is absolutely amazing. So if you're enjoying my analysis and you're liking my opinion and you want to be taking advantage of some of the information, then make sure to be checking if it's available in your country. And if it's available in your country, you can click that second link down below for KCEX. And as you can see here, guys, KCEX are also running a competition just for my community. So you can see over here that you have the opportunity to be winning 100 USD in futures funds over there to 5 lucky winners. So if you make sure to sign up with my referral link down below in the description, so that's the second link over there, you can be able to potentially have the opportunity to win this so that you could be taking trades and be making more money, of course. You can see here, guys, at the bottom there, you have the date for when this amazing giveaway is actually over and actually finishes on the date of the inauguration, which will be a nice surprise for whoever wins. So make sure to be signing up. And actually, My community isn't the biggest yet, so of course you have an increased chance of actually winning this. So I definitely recommend you take the time. It takes about 2 minutes to actually do that, and then you deposit $100 and you have a very, very high chance of actually winning. So if you go to the description over there, you can see you have the third link as well for MEXC. And MEXC are one of the best exchanges as they have a lot of pairs listed that you won't actually be able to access on a lot of the other exchanges. So I do recommend them, and they also have this $100 deposit opportunity where you get an extra $20 bonus to be trading with. So when you sign up for MEXC, make sure to be depositing $100, and then you can be getting $20 in bonus to be trading with, which is absolutely amazing. For the longer time frame, we're still actually moving in towards our target of 120k using this cup and handle fractal, where we're looking at the measured move from the base of the cup towards the neckline. And if you measure it up from the point of the breakout, you can see it lines up with 120k quite nicely. I've covered it on the channel so many times, and I talked about how in January in 2020, which was the ghost pattern I used, and I drew all the way before we had the breakout. You can see that it's exactly playing now, where we have that pullback before we actually go parabolic. And the difference is this time on the leg up, it's not just Bitcoin that's going to be going very, very parabolic. There's going to be your altcoins that are going to be way outperforming Bitcoin too. But you can see using that 120k target, I've drawn out this range where I'm using that price target as a base case, and then my bear market lows, then the bear market lows at 16k over there, which coincides with your 2017 high. And you can see that this range quarter I was talking about yesterday, we got that liquidity grab like I was talking about in the past few videos. And then I said, if we get a wick and this weekly candle actually starts moving upwards and it looks like we can't break below this level, that's just going to be the final nail in the coffin, where I am ready to be completely wrong. I do think that the probability of us actually moving higher is very, very likely. Just looking at these wicks, looking at the price action, looking at us holding this range quarter and the bears actually failing to bring price a lot lower, it's very unlikely that we're gonna see prices actually start coming a lot down, especially in towards the CME gap due to price action now. Unless something happens where we have really bad news that we won't get any rate cuts or something, then maybe we can actually come down. So I'm not going to rule it out, but I'm just going to say that in my books, it looks like this is serious demand level. We're having a lot of wicks. We are not spending any time below 92k. So the closing candles, if you draw a arrow over here and we want to look at the closing candles, you can see it's 93.5 is the last time we've closed really low. That's the lowest candle. So this red candle here, that candle over here, the close of that candle was 93.5. And other than that, we've come lower, of course, but on the weekly time frame, it's just been wicks. So I'm expecting us to have really parabolic advancements, and you can see the fractal is looking really similar, where we have a lot of wicks, not much time spent below the key level, and we just explode after that. So we want to see if Trump can actually help us get to that target. That'll be it for me today, guys. Just on Bitcoin, we'll touch on things after CPI and we'll look at the bigger picture. But I just wanted to give some price updates and show you guys what I'm seeing in the market. So yeah, make sure to be following me here to get consistent updates on things that I don't include in the channel. For example, this one I posted not too long ago from the time of this recording. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a blessed rest of your day. Peace, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.